Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Sammy J, Pixel and Kilowatts. Anyway, so this video is specifically for comparing the Nikon Zfc and the FujiFilm XT-50. This video is not going through every from A to Z. This button does this button does that. Again, if you follow my channels, you know me. I like to actually go in the field and take some pictures. So I borrowed the ZFC from a friend, and then I bought this one. Actually, this is mine. It's not sponsored or given to me by anyone. The XT-50 Fujifilm, and you'll stick around and you'll see the pictures toward the end, and what's the difference between the two. But mainly is which one is it's better for you. I mean, everybody had a personal opinion, obviously, but I'm going to give you my point of view of which one I felt more versatile, which one I felt more comfortable, at least carrying and handling, and which one is it's a better deal, to be honest with you. So we're gonna do a quick comparison now. Just watch the screen. I'm gonna put what's the XT-50 and the Nikon ZFC, and we'll talk about the some specific here. The XT-50. I mean, it's a the sensor. It's 40.2 megapixel. I know people, they're hung up on the megapixels and stuff like this, but even though there's the Nikon ZFC, it's 20.9. Frankly, when we produce the pictures, not much difference. You're not going to print on 11 by 17 and all that. So I'm not hung up. So we're not going to say, yeah, the Fujifilm is the winner because of the megapixel. That's a bunch of crock and BS, to be honest with you. So 20.9 is enough for the average person. CMOS sensor, they both CMOS sensors. So so on the megapixels, I think they're we're gonna say 1-to-1. On the processor, again, these are given to specific. Canon has one name and Nikon has another, Fuji. So the processor, frankly, they're both good. Now we'll get into the nitty gritty here. Image stabilization. Winner, Fujifilm XT-50. It has a image. It's called IBIS. It's in the camera, in the body of the camera. So no matter what lens you use, the camera stabilizes for you. I mean, that's a winner. For Nikon, it's lens based. It's crazy. So it's not the body, it's the lens. Is it a deal breaker? So I'm gonna call it 50-50 on this. But for me, again, my point of view, I think the body, have the IBIS in the body, it's more functional, more solid. But again, they both ranked okay there, so you're not gonna have issues taking pictures and a little shaky here and there. On the ISO, again, I never go to the 51,000 or 200,000 ISO, so I stay between 200 and maybe 6400. So tell me, I mean, what's your experience? Have you ever gone over 6400? Crazy. I don't understand why people want to go 200,000. So again, my range is 200 to 6400. Sometimes maybe 12,000, but nothing over that. So again, these two cameras, they're fine so far. So what we just talked about so far is the image stabilization, little edge or Fujifilm. The autofocus, detection, they both do eye detection, but here's the winner. The Fujifilm XT-50 have AI deep learning, so I don't know how that works. So I'm going to research it more, maybe have a second video to explain what this AI mean. But they claim that the camera learns as you take pictures and subjects moving around and stuff like that. Do you have one of these? What's your experience been with the XT-50 and this AI learning thing? So we're gonna dig more into it. This is gonna be a whole session on just AI, but it seems as I use this more and more, I feel more comfortable with it. But it is, I think this AI does work. Uh, so we'll see how that goes. Next, the display. They both have 3-inch, varying angle. But here it is. Here, the winner is the ZFC, the Nikon Zfc, because it swings out. This one here, it just comes up this way. It doesn't swings out. So you can use this. What I'm using right now, I'm using a Canon. It swings out, so you can see yourself while you're videoing. With this one, even though it has 4K, and they both have 4K, the winner is the Nikon. Frankly, they definitely got it. They got it there. So bad here. If you're an influencer, YouTuber, you can't use this. You can't use this. Period. You can't. It's going to be like this. You don't know what's going on. So shame on Fujifilm for this. But I think they came with another model that opens. The design. They're both of them. They have tactile. They both have knobs. So it's retro feel. So you know me. I mean, if you watch the channel, I'm a big 35mm fan, and I added that in October of last year to my R5 and my digital camera. So I'm using Canon A1, etc. But again, the feel, yes, this is retro, and the ZFC, yes, it is maybe more retro. But now the big winner in the design, I think is the XT-50, because it has a grip. With the ZFC, if you carry it over 2 hours, or you're going on a trip or something, it's flat. Now, here's a practica. If you look at all the other cameras like Canon AE1, Pentax K1000, all the other ones, they don't have a grip. They're flat. They're flat here. There's no grip. So what are people complaining about? I don't know. So the Canon Zfc did, make it real retro by mimicking the original, Nikon, and they were, they were flat here, didn't have a grip. But as in the 1980s and 90s, they start having grip here. But again, it wasn't comfortable at all. With this one, it's one-hand operation, on-off here. Shutter, boom, you're done. It's 100% one hand. So on the ergonomics, the Fujifilm XT-50 wins. So let's summarize all this before we go to the big one, the big controversy between the two, which is it's gonna determine who is the winner. Because frankly, if you look at the specs, I'm gonna put it on the screen again. You look at the specs, they're both the same, frankly. I mean, come on, for the normal person that's going to buy a camera, it's the same. If you're a megapixel fanatic, yeah, you're gonna go with the Fujifilm. But when you produce pictures and you see the pictures, you're not gonna tell the difference. Believe me, I'm gonna show you at the end. You will never ever tell the difference between the 40 and the 20 megapixel unless you blow them up and you're printing something like a poster. Okay, who's printing posters nowadays? Nobody. We don't even print we don't even print 4x6. If you follow this channel, you know why I went to the 35mm, because it forces you to print. It forces you to go through the process, even though there's scans and other things. And I know people say, yeah, 35mm, but they scan them for you and they send you the scan. But yeah, but you're gonna print them. Okay, so specs wise, they're both the same. IBIS, there is some controversy, okay, in body, on the lens. But overall, I think they score, let's say 98, for example, out of the 100. Now, where's that 2 or 3% that makes the XT-50 the winner? Sorry, Nikon guys. I love Nikon. I have a Nikon FG 35mm, and I love it more than the Canon A1. So, if you're a Nikon fan or a Canon fan or a Fuji fan, I mean, Sorry, but the truth is in the field usage, how it feels. But again, that 2-3%, guess what it is? It's the film recipes. So I had to learn this from zero. I've done photography forever, and I use a lot of cameras. But when I went from Canon, I was Canon all my life. But now I'm diversified. Why? It just doesn't make sense. Why limit your imagination or innovation and transformation and limit your ability to experience new things? I have no loyalty to any brand. You shouldn't either. Because I've seen, I'm a Nikon guy, I'm a Canon guy, and then the people freak out. No, Nikon, who cares? Use what's best in the moment right now. Live it right now. Again, you're on a train. You're on a journey from A to Z. Take advantage of different things in life. So I didn't switch. I complemented the Fujifilm, and I had to learn it from zero. Because the menus were different, and golly, it's crazy. And there is something called film recipes. I'll put a link here. I mean, everything we're talking about, you'll see a link in the description. And guess what? All these films, acros and in black and white, and they mimic those with a dial here. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, look at that, 8 or 12 here. And you can go black and white just like that, and you got acros and different kind of shades and all the film that you know about. It's right here in the dial. That's what makes this real retro. I mean, I can one switch and boom, I'm taking black and white. And then there's some about 8 or I think 12 custom menus here. Again, I'm going to put the links in the description. There's something called FujiFilm, weekly, where people post their own recipes. Just brand spanking new. It's like just something different. Green shade, yellow shade, not just the basic, the acros and the black and whites and all the known ones, which is the names of the 35mm film. That's what those things are. And with film recipes, my God, you can get creative. I mean, I'm overwhelmed. There's like hundreds, not 6 or 7 or 8. There's hundreds. I mean, it's just really confusing. But, I just put a few here. I mean, the camera comes with those, I think, 8 here. So you can switch just like that. And you can go to retro instantaneously. Amazing. 40 megapixel, in-body stabilization. And most importantly, you got custom menus for film recipes, and you got the dial here, which there is a lot of controversy on this dial. The real Fujifilm fan, they don't like that. They want them here. But I'm giving you my point of view from a new user. We love this dial. Tell me if you disagree with me. Tell me why. I mean, you want a custom stuff? They gave it to you here inside. You got custom menus in here. You can do that. You got 8 in here. Us, the newbies, we want it. Boom, switch. Boom, you got it. It has auto. You can do aperture. You can do shutter priority. You can do aperture priority. You can do everything in here. But believe me, I've been putting it in auto and using this dial here, and boom, 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 boom. I love this camera. Again, look at the grip. This is the only camera that I know is just one-hand operation. On, off, click, boom. On, off. I mean, you got the on-off switch here. You got the shutter button here, and you got the exposure compensation here. Exposure compensation right here. So 1, 2. I mean, just with 2 fingers, boom, boom, boom. You're doing everything. And even you can go to auto and manual. I just can't believe it. One-hand operation. The winner is Fujifilm XT-50 real retro camera, real retro results. Again, you heard me before. 35mm is more fun, but this is the next to it. 35mm here. This one like right here. And the shutter sound on this is like, it's a Mickey Mouse. Like this one here. These. Look at that. This is different. I want to darken here, so I'll put it on 500. This one falls on the ground, it'll damage the ground. This one's falls on the ground, bye-bye. That's about extra warranty for this. Again, so the weight on this is, I think it's 445 grams, and the ZFC is 438. So weight-wise, everything-wise, they're all the same. What makes this the winner is the film recipes. Look at the pictures and tell me what you think. If you don't agree with me, let me know. What's your point of view? Again, this is the fun. This is the fun YouTube. We're not gonna freak out on this. If you don't agree, tell me why. If you have different point of view, different opinion, put it in there. If you don't like this button here to go to black and white, to other film recipes, acros and all that stuff. Again, I'm still learning, so I might not be pronouncing those film things correctly. But I love this thing. This thing goes with me everywhere. Again, camera is an extension of you. It's an extension of life. Keep it with you. Take it, go to the restaurant. I told you many times, if you watch this channel, when you take the restaurant and then you're going, they say, what's wrong with this guy? Especially when you take this tank with you, and this is very noisy, by the way. I like to take this one instead. Anyways, subscribe to the channel, follow us, and let's have fun. Okay? Cheers.